Thank you for listening to Comics for Fun and Profit. It's episode 534 for comics releasing October 16th. And since you're listening to me, you know Kyle's out. He's MIA. He's camping, vacationing, living his gallivanting lifestyle all across the globe. Aren't we jealous? But anyway, the show must go on. And in the past, I've done solo shows, and they've not been great. So I have abandoned them for a while. And then, as I listen to someone like Mike Weekly Reads, he crushes it week in, week out. So I'm like inspired by this. So I'm like, oh, how can maybe I can do a little better job. Maybe I can try to do a solo show and not be a dumpster fire. So I'm going to change some of the things. So without Kyle here, less back and forth. So I just kind of have to hit things, say my piece, and move on. Maybe that's the key. Or Kyle completes me, and that's the only way I can get through these is with him. So it's a toss-up. You be the judge, and we'll find out. We'll find out just how, if there's any hope for me at all. Can I ever do a solo show, or must I always have co-hosts because I am garbage by myself? I don't know. We'll find out soon. Let's kick right into some feedback. And first, it's Glenn, who wants to know how many issues of a comic we will read before we drop the book. This has changed for me over time. I used to be very patient, and I would give comics a full trade worth of comics. So I would give them 5 or 6 issues, and then I'd make my decision, and it's not for me, or it's okay, but it's not great. It's good, but I don't need to be reading it, or it's something I want to keep on my pull list forever. Now, it's one. And I just assume that, because I used to worry what if it gets better? I'll miss out. Fear of missing out, the old FOMO. And I don't care anymore. There's so many comics that are available to be read that if one comes out of the gate sluggish, one comes out and is off for whatever reason, not my sensibility, or just boring, or doesn't do anything, doesn't move the needle at all, and it's one of those written for the trade things that is too decompressed for me, I'll bounce. I'm done. And if I hear about it later, like, man, you missed out, that was great, which I've done. Deadly Class is one of those that, I didn't like the first issue very much, but when I went back after watching the show and realized I was wrong, it was great. So I admit my mistakes and go back, but in the heat of the moment, I evaluate. I know I don't like something right away, and if I don't like something right away, I have no problem quitting it. Now, that's not to say I don't read a comic that's average and stick with it, because I've done that. It wasn't good, it wasn't bad, it was just okay, but there's something about either the art or the writing or the character or something that makes me want to keep reading, and maybe I'll do another, and then drop. But I can easily drop a book after one or halfway through one. I don't even need to finish it sometimes, which is probably travesty to some folks, but yeah, ain't nobody got time for that. So it's changed over time, but now I have a much shorter leash, and there's always another train coming, man. There's thousands of books each month to choose from. I can't read them all. Let's see. Timothy Bach had asked over on the internet for favorite podcast recommendations, and our good friend Dwayne at Dulascar recommended us, even though he's not a fan of speculation, he really likes our podcast and thinks it's fun. Thank you, Dwayne. Appreciate you giving us a shout out of all the podcasts you could have recommended. You recommended ours. That's pretty cool, and we thank you for that. Terry asks, with the Joker movie blowing up and setting box office records, who is the next villain that should get their own movie? Well, the Joker he's kind of a singular person. I don't know that anyone could repeat that kind of perfect storm of auteur, director, and critical acclaim and public box office and all that stuff. I don't know. I mean, aren't all of them going to eventually get their own movie? I mean, comic book movies continue to make piles and piles of money, so I would imagine they'll go through every rogues gallery everywhere and give them some screen time. Whether they get their own movie or not, I don't know. Who's a great villain? I guess Lex Luthor maybe could get his own. That might be fun. We have seen him a lot on the small screen though, so maybe we've seen enough Lex. I wouldn't want to do another Batman villain, but the Riddler's pretty good. That would be a fun one. Penguin, that's another good one. Yeah, there's tons. So let's just line them up, man. Let's line them up and knock them down and do as many as we can. They'd all be pretty fun. Our good friend Eric has sent us the FOC. Felt bad about not making any selections, so this time he's included 6 for our perusing pleasure. Again, FOC is Final Order Cutoff. These are comics that are releasing in 3 weeks or so. You have one last chance to add them to your order, or if you think you made a mistake, you can remove them from your order. Little known fun fact. So if it's on the FOC, you can increase or decrease your order. And these orders will be due noon on Monday. Now, if you're not already an FOC receiver, we'll have a link in the show notes where you can sign up. It's good stuff. So what has Eric selected this month, or this week for us? He selected Green Lantern Black Stars, number 1 of 3. It is a Grant Morrison written book with Liam Sharp doing the cover, and it's $2 with his discount. So pretty sweet there. Normally a $4 book. We've got Dead Eyes number 2, Jerry Dugan and John McCrae cover. This is $2.39 with his discount, or $4 normally. Now Dead Eyes, of course, is a reissue of Dead Rabbit, the Jerry Dugan book that got yanked because of copyright infringement. Now, this one I think is still material that was already released as Dead Rabbit. So the next issue, Dead Eyes 3, I think, if I'm not mistaken, will be the first new material of the series that you haven't already read if you were reading Dead Rabbit. So it's good to see this back. I think it's smart for them to reissue from the beginning and not just change the title halfway through and assume that we'll put 2 and 2 together. I think it's smart to just reissue it like Dead Rabbit never happened. And good for those of us who have Dead Rabbit originally. It'll always be scarce. So good call there. He's also selected Ghost Rider number 1, the second printing of such, written by Ed Brisson with a cover by Aaron Cooter. This is a $2.99 book with the discount, normally $4. He's also selected Legion of Superheroes number 1, Brian Michael Bendis doing the writing and Ryan Sook on art. $2 book. with his discount and a $3.99 normal price. People have been clamoring for Legion of Superheroes. I tried to read some of the Millennium 1-2 shot thing that was out, and yeah, it was one of those, as I was saying earlier, easy to drop right away. Not for me. So people love this stuff. I don't get it. Maybe it'll be fantastic. It is Brian Michael Bendis. I should like it, but I don't so far. He's also selected Spawn 300. This is the third printing of Spawn 300. This is an ASM 300 homage cover, and yet another one. And this is Todd doing the cover. And it's an $8 book normally. With discount, it's $4.99. His final selection is X-Force #1 DX. This is Ben Percy doing the writing, Josh Cassara doing the internal artwork, and Dustin Weaver doing the cover. Normally a $5 book. He'll give it to you for $2.50. Nice cover there. And one of the little departures we're going to do with the solo show is, since I don't have Kyle to bounce ideas off of, we're going to let Eric's selections stand as the FOC recommendations. And I'm not going to look through the spreadsheet for my own with all that dead air and clickety-click. So I think that's the way to go. Cover Price has released their top 10. And these are comics that came out this week, Wednesday, or they've checked the hot sales. I'm sorry, these are the sales for this week that they've measured. And topping the list is the New York Comic Con variant of Spawn 300. It's a gold variant. 13 of them sold, an average of about $400 a piece. It's very hard to get New York Comic Con variant, and as such, it's blowing up. Number 2 is the Absolute Carnage Immortal Hulk #1, the Codex variant. This is a Hulk Venom hybrid ratio cover, and 73 of them sold for an average around $65. The first issue of DMZ is selling. This is the O'Brien Wood comic from Vertigo. HBO has ordered a pilot for this, and about 26 of them sold. You can get a raw copy for about $17, and if you got a 9/8 graded, they're selling for about $131. Spectacular Spider-Man #1 from way back in the day sold 20 copies this week, and the average copy sold for around $45. Then we get interesting stuff here. Moon Knight 14, the direct edition. It's without the little barcode on it, by the way. Sold 10 this week, almost $20 a piece. Why, you ask? It's the first appearance of Stained Glass Scarlet. This comic, issue 14, has been in many a quarter bin, 50-cent bin, dollar bin in my lifetime. I'm the world's biggest Moon Knight fan. Well, maybe not the world's biggest, but I'm a fan of Moon Knight and buy a lot of them. And I would pass this up because I had so many copies. I would just stop. Like, I don't need another copy of this one because it was in plentiful supply. So go digging. You'll find that one. And find yourself a $20 bill. Doctor Strange number 381, the Mike Del Mundo variant, sold 18 copies this week for an average of around double cover. We also have Moon Knight 14, the newsstand variant, so that's even more. So if it's got a barcode on it, of course, close to 30. So go to dig and look for that. X Factor 15, 21 copies sold this week. Double cover, average. It's the first appearance of the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. We have Eternals number 2, the first appearance of Ajax and Celestials, selling for about $50 a piece. So I think you could have got this pretty cheap at one point, but get out there and see if there's still some floating around. House of X number 5, the J. Scott Campbell New York City Comic-Con variant, 18 copies for $40. There's only 3,000 of these in existence. There's some good stuff there to check out. So hot stuff. Always check out Comics Heating Up or coverprice.com. Either one, they both are great resources for some of this stuff. All right, so let's take a look at new releases for comics coming out this Wednesday, October 16th. And this is another place where I thought I'd change things up a little bit instead of slogging through the list. Just pick a few contenders for pick of the week as we go through and not comment on everything. So let's take a look at Marked number 1. This is an Image comic written by David Hine and Brian Haberlin. Art by Brian Haberlin and Jared Van Dyke. It's double-sized, one price. It's about magic being channeled through tattoos. The Marked look like cool young influencers, but beneath the designer clothes, their bodies are tattooed with the magical glyphs of an ancient order that secretly protects the world against evil forces. So, this comes out October 16th. It's $3.99. And is a contender for pick of the week, but is not going to get it. Seems interesting. I'll definitely check it out and read it, but it's not my pick of the week. Let me slide down to DC, and it's Metal Men number 1, written by Dan Didio. With art by Michelle Delecky, art and a cover by Shane Davis. The Metal Men, they're back and back again as we take a deep look into Doc Magnus's lab as he experiments with what it means to be sentient. Meanwhile, a mysterious liquid nth metal has appeared in the science site at Challenger's Mountain that appears to have come from the dark multiverse. Another $3.99 comic. I enjoyed the last Metal Men appearance that I saw back in the pre-Convergence or post-Convergence? It's like a 2-issue series, I think. It was pretty good. And I thought that would be cool they should get their own series for a little while, see what happens. And lo and behold, years and years later, they have done so. Not super thrilled about the nth metal having to get jammed in there, but whatever. This is interesting. I'm definitely going to check it out. Not the pick of the week. So down at Marvel, we have X-Men number 1, the Art Germ variant, written by Jonathan Hickman. Laniel Francis Yu doing the interior art, and Art Germ doing the cover. Pretty cover. This is the dawn of X. The X-Men find themselves in a whole new world of possibilities. Things have never been better. So we'll see. Yet another X-Men reboot. Having not read Powers of X and House of X, I hope I understand what's going on and what the status quo is. Because I'm planning on sampling this. But it is not the pick of the week. We have, let's see, Robotech Remix number 1 from Titan Comics. This is written by Brendan Fletcher with art by Elmer Damasco and a cover by Carl Kerschel. Robotech was kind of a cool anime series that I used to dig way back in the day. And I do want to sample this and see if it captures any of that old magic for me. I know they've tried it multiple times. It's Robotech being reborn from the ashes of Event Horizon, which I didn't read, so hopefully that doesn't hurt. But Brendan Fletcher, I kind of liked his Moto Crush series, so I'm willing to check this out. But it is not the pick of the week. We have Once and Future number 3. It's now 3 of a 6-issue miniseries. I'm not sure if it always was or not. From Boom Studios. This is written by Kieran Gillen, art by Dan Mora, glorious art by Dan Mora. Gran and Duncan are in a race against time to get back to the other world. The sword in the stone awaits, and he who pulls the sword from the stone becomes king. It's a $3.99 book. Now, the first issue blowed up. 6 printings, selling well. Second issue doing very, very well. But this is the third issue. So, although this could be a pick of the week, it's definitely a contender. It is not the pick of the week. But definitely something to read. We have Something is Killing Children, number 2. This is the FOC Bertram variant. Written by James Tynion IV, who now is going to be a Batman writer. Art by Werther Del Derica on the interiors, and a cover by Ian Bertram. I enjoyed this first issue a lot. I made the FOC variant my pick of the week for the first issue. It went to $15 or so, plus. I haven't checked lately. And now I'm making the second issue FOC variant my pick of the week. So, spec pick of the week is Something is Killing Children, number 2, from newly crowned Batman writer James Tynion IV. So, please check that out and let us know what you thought of the solo cast. I'm curious is it better, worse, or about the same as the last time? Would you just rather I put a rerun episode up of one of our past episodes or an old review show in its place? Would you rather we just take the week off? Or is this okay? Is this okay occasionally with Kyle's dozen or so vacations per year that I pop in and do a solo? I'd love to hear what you have to say. And if it's scathing criticism, I can take it. I'm a big boy. Anyway, thank you guys all for listening. This has been Comics for Fun and Profit. See ya.